The City of London, a global financial centre and the powerhouse of Britain's economy, with the capital accounting for more than a fifth of the nation's GDP. Home to 250 foreign banks and with access to the European single market, worth up to 80 billion a year to the UK economy, big business in the square mile have always argued that Britain is better off as a member of the European Union than out. In a speech made here in the heart of the city today to mark the publication of this report, Boris Johnson imagined the unimaginable. Britain could leave the European Union and the city could still thrive.
You know, this is something very much for the Prime Minister. I think he set out his vision very clearly last year. He's going totally in the right direction, in my view. And I think that what I'm trying to do is try to amplify some of the argument and to give encouragement to those who think that we could be very successful in the negotiations ahead. And I think there are two good deals that are possible. You could stay in and reform, or you could get out and have an open approach and have an EFTA-style relationship, which would also lead to considerable growth and opportunities as well.
Gerard Lyons, the Mayor's economic advisor and author of the report, says staying in a reformed EU is the best option for Britain and should see the London economy almost double to £640 billion in the next 2 decades. But he also believes that Britain should leave if the Prime Minister cannot secure meaningful reform ahead of the proposed 2017 referendum on British membership.
What this report says is that being in or out of the EU is a very important decision, but it's not the only thing that determines how well Britain or London will do as an economy. It's not just being in or out, it's also about the policies pursued. So if we are in a reform-orientated European Union, that's really good, that's the best scenario. If, however, we stay in an unreformed EU, the status quo, then that is not a particularly great picture in the changing, growing global economy. And therefore leaving on good terms, doing the right thing, is a good scenario.
But big business has concerns over the Mayor's intervention today.
The Mayor said quite clearly that his own research demonstrates the best option for Britain is staying in a reformed European Union. That delivers the most jobs and growth for Britain. He then went on to say that it was a viable option to leave. Well, actually, his own research shows the worst option for jobs and growth in Britain is a poor exit. So the question is, if we had an exit, would it be a good exit or a poor exit? Clearly, we accept in the CBI you can survive outside the European Union. The question is, would you prosper? And we shouldn't underestimate how difficult an exit would be to negotiate. It's not obvious to me we'd get the good exit that he was calling for.
Back in Westminster, political watchers have no doubt that today's speech was all about Boris Johnson's leadership ambitions. He has electrified the Tory party with the announcement that he wants to return to Parliament as an MP in 2015, and this will pave the way for his ambitions to succeed David Cameron when he finally steps down. David Cameron tweeted today from his holiday in Portugal that he was delighted that Boris Johnson was returning to Westminster and that he wanted to get this star player back on the pitch. But in setting himself up today as the most high-profile eurosceptic in the Tory party, Boris Johnson is signalling that he might not be the team player that David Cameron so craves, and that could put the Prime Minister under greater pressure within the party in the coming months. It's the last thing he wants before a general election. Elizabeth Rigby, Financial Times, Westminster.